Moving through NFR, feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. The checkered flag is waving near, fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap, drawing fouls, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on this stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. Checkered flag is waving near, fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap, drawn fouls, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on the stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Tonight, a bit of a somber evening. A lot of a somber evening. Of course, the South African racing community has lost one of their favorites. Very well respected driver across almost all South African leagues. That's why we've got so many viewers here tonight. This is all about It's Free. Remember, you can just have a look at those liveries. Everybody running special liveries tonight. Special helmets. Qualifying will be the normal format, and then going into the race, going to be doing something a little different, something for It's Free. Going to have the formation lap, and then lap 1 is going to be led by Wheeze. Drivers will follow in single file at 80 kilometers an hour, and there will be no overtaking. And of course, we'll have a rolling start coming out of the chicane for the start of lap 2. I want to thank everybody who has joined the stream, everybody who has left their messages, their comments, their show of respect. You can see how full this lobby is, and we got started a little late because everyone was trying to get into this lobby. Everyone wanting to be part of this race. Pretty sure a lot of the viewers would rather want to be in one of those cars. Just no space tonight. It's a race in honor of a driver that I don't know anyone who had anything bad to say about him. You can see all the various black liveries. Of course, it's free. If you hadn't heard the news, and I'm sure you do know the news if you look at the comment section, it's free sadly passed away this morning. And that's why tonight SAFRL is looking a little different. We are starting to get our first lap times on the board. Wheeze goes into provisional pole position for the time being. That would be fitting for him to start from P1. Of course, Wheeze and It's Free spent a lot of time racing with each other, spent many seasons as teammates, and were great friends beyond the grid. As things stand, Jonas P1, Wheeze P2, Virus up in P3. "18 of the 19 drivers all out on track. Still waiting for laps from Lebby, Top Gun, SPM. And Boinky's the only car not to have left the pits. As for everybody else, they have completed their first run, so Jonas, Wheeze, Virus, Skull, those are the top 5. Skull currently in P4. It was his first run at 29.0. Had a fantastic race last night as well, finishing in P2. I think I read something about us seeing the black liveries back for League v League next week Monday. Of course, SAFRL was also a very big name in the League v League among other leagues. That's why it's so great to see so many of you here. Reminder at the start of the race, first lap will be driven at 80 kilometers an hour. And we will get going with a rolling start at the beginning of lap 2. So many messages, so many comments. Wish there was a way some of his family members were able to see these comments. He was well loved. Osman currently in P12, Pantry Star P13, and he's just improved up to P7. That's a better run. It's 29.1. Let's bring up some data on the screen so we can see who's doing what. There we go, no one messing around with the tires, nobody sandbagging, everybody straight onto the soft tire. Hi Cooper, we do know that, we don't know if he has any family members watching, but I do know that he has many friends watching. This link went out to so many leagues that I'm not even aware of. It's been shared everywhere. Of course, a shock to the entire community. Jonas, the quickest man so far, he sits in the pits. We're looking at the man in P2. This is Wheeze. Remember, he's going to lead that lap in honor, lap 1. Regardless of qualifying positions, he's going to lead that lap. SPM, last time we saw him he was towards the rear of the field. He's improved since then, so has Wheeze. Becomes the first driver to dip into the 27s. Jonas not far behind at all with a 28.0, and he's on an outlap looking to take that P1 right back. Spikes currently in P3, Virus P4, P5. Skull, he needs to get back out there. He's been demoted, lost a few positions. I believe this is it Corfi? I think it's Corfi. Driver in P9, then Osh Cartoon in the pits, Ladmine. He asked to be part of this race pretty last minute. Really wanted to be here tonight, be part of this event. Leaded Sky, that's the driver we were waiting for. He has been able to join in qualifying, so hopefully he's able to take control of that car, and we're going to have a full lobby of 20 drivers. It's just fantastic to see. Of course, we took that provisional pole position back by dipping into the 27s, but now we're looking at Jonas. He's not far behind at all. On a 28.0, less than a tenth of a second covers the two. Spike's still in P3, still in the pits. Virus, driver up in P4. Regardless of all the black liveries, points will still be allocated to their teams, Red Bull, McLaren and everybody else. It was just thought that tonight we should switch over to the custom cars. Trying to think if I've ever seen a completely black F1 car with no sponsors. I can think of one, but I'm trying to think if there's a more recent one. Jonas goes quicker, 27.8, finds 2/10 to go 1/10 ahead of Wheeze. That means if Wheeze wants to start from pole position, he's going to have to keep on working. It's the driver in provisional pole. Wheeze already on an outlap. It's a really busy session. Still waiting for lap times from two drivers. Levy at the rear at 19. He is out on track. We're also waiting for a lap time from this driver, Leaded Sky. Of course, he got in here during qualifying, and he's starting his first run. This is Levy. I think he's coming to the end of his first run. Will this be his first lap time of the evening? Yes, it is. It's P3. Thought things looked a little messy on that chicane, so I think he's got even more time than that. But currently, the top two, the front row, literally in a different league. 27.8, 27.9. Next best, 28.5. Let's go to the driver in P20. Not Jonas. Jonas is going back into the pits. That's Leaded Sky. Looking for that first timed lap. To get himself up the order. Remember, while this is a tribute race, it's still a race in the SAFRL Championship. Guys are still going to be thinking about strategy. They're still going to be thinking about taking this race seriously. It is for points. And it's just the way I believe Ferrari would have liked it. Fast racing. Clean racing. Right to the finish line. Have almost 30 of you watching. Large audience here tonight. Don't know if I can name all of you. It's Cooper, Kalen, Visor. Is that Q-Bomb? No idea what's going on with my mouse. There's Joker's here as well. So much support. Logic, Triple M. Haven't seen some of these names in the comment section for a while, but everybody making an appearance here for Free. Obviously Maggot, Robin, Dixie. Is that Mandy? Everyone showing their support and their condolences. Etienne, Shane, Blade. And there are more that I haven't been able to mention, but everybody that's here, thank you very much. Wheeze has gone back to the front. It's a 27.6, so this time it's not just a tenth of a second. He's put up a bit of a challenge, and if anyone's up for the challenge, it's this driver here. Qualifying now almost coming to an end, just 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Wheeze is the quickest man, but Jonas is going to be able to get over the line with just 10 seconds remaining, so he's going to have one last go. Of course, if you cross the finish line before the checkered flag falls, you are able to finish that lap. And Jonas is taking this qualifying session right to the very end. That is now the end of qualifying. Just a reminder going into the race. Going to have a formation lap followed by lap 1 at 80 kilometers an hour. In tribute to Ferrari, Wheeze will lead that lap around, and of course he is starting from pole position. I do have something that I want to read for you all, and I'll read it during the formation lap. I think that's what we'll do. Got a message here. This was obviously from Wheeze, very good friend of It's Free, and I'll read it out during the formation lap, and then during that lap 1, well, I won't say anything. It will just be a lap in silence. There are your results. Wheeze takes pole position, and fittingly so. Jonas P2, Then we've got SPM P3, Spikes P4, Levy P5, Ladmine P6, Virus P7, Pantry Star P8, Uno P9, and Skull makes up the top 10. Outside the top 10 with a bit of work to do, Osman P11, Harshgod soon 12, then we've got Boinkies 13, he's followed by Corfi, Andre, is that Boomrurker? Then Big Rhino, Skulk, Top Gun, and Leaded Sky will go from the rear of the field. There you go, welcome back everybody. We've just finished up with qualifying and we're about ready to get going with the race. Of course, all the cars are currently to the right hand side of your screen doing their final preparations for the race, deciding on their strategy, what tyres they're going to start on and things like that. We're going to have a slightly different start. Going to have a rolling start at the beginning of lap 2, because lap 1 it's all for free. Have obviously a bit of a pause, but hopefully it's not a lobby breaking pause. Tonight would not be the night. Hold it together, EA. It's just still waiting to get things going. Let's see if I can read this without my voice starting to crack up. I wasn't designed for reading things like this. So again, this was from Wheeze. It is with a deep sadness that we announce the passing of my friend Fari, a cherished member of the South African racing community. Fari was more than just a racer, he was the cornerstone of the community, known for his passion, skill and generosity. Whether it was lighting up the grid with his competitive spirit or helping newcomers find their feet, he brought a sense of camaraderie and warmth and touched everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. His legacy on and off the virtual track will not be forgotten. He pushed the limits, inspired many, and built friendships that extended far beyond the finish line. The sim racing world has lost a true legend, and we feel his absence deeply. Our thoughts and condolences are with his family, friends, and everyone in the racing community who had the honor of competing alongside him. Rest in peace, Fari. You will always be on track with us. Of course, you are now looking at the formation lap. Drivers will go around, obviously find their position in the grid. And then we're going to have a lap in silence. I will just mute my mic, leave the game sound on. Just the roar of the engines and nothing else. More messages, more condolences coming through. Again, thank you to everybody who's been part of this stream, everybody who's been watching. Usually this is the time we get ready to go. We will get the 5 red lights, but we're not going to get the aggressive start you're all expecting. Remember, 80 kilometers an hour. Doesn't everybody think that was fantastic? Never seen something like that in the sim racing world. Awesome first lap. Everybody showing respect. And now it's time to get underway. Weeze leads the way from Jonas. They were the two quickest drivers in qualifying by a bit of a margin. Then SPM in P3, Spikes P4, Levy P5, Ladmine gets up into P6. Then we got Skull P7, Uno P8. I believe Skull's made up a few positions. Yes, he has made up 3 positions, starting in P10 already up to P7. So things going well there for Skull. We've got a virtual safety car. And unfortunately it's Leaded Sky that has been the first to fall. Of course, Leaded Sky, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to join the comment section. Let us know what happened. Let me know in the comment section, did you race with SAFRL? And if so, what leagues did you race with him? Weeze leads the way. I was about to say he got the fastest lap, but no more. Then Jonas took it. Now Skull has taken it. Skull, quickest man out on circuit, currently in P7. Remember, he's made up 3 positions right at the start of the race, so fantastic start. Now things have started to stagnate as he falls behind Ladmine, almost 2.5 seconds. But that battle for the lead, 6 cars, Weeze, Jonas, SPM, Spikes, Levy and Ladmine, all within DRS of each other. All within DRS of each other, but remember, this is Suzuka. It's not the easiest place to make an overtake, as F1 proved just last weekend. You just have the one DRS zone. That's obviously on the main straight. Everywhere else on the track you're gonna have to, well, you're gonna need some good old-fashioned overtaking, bravery on the brakes, and some good old-fashioned slipstream. At the front of the field, Weeze still leads the way. Jonas goes to the front of the field. I don't expect that will be the last time those two trade places. Of course, 27 laps, very, very long race. SPM now the driver in P3, Spikes P4. Levy and Ladmine still sitting 5 and 6. This is what I mean, they're within DRS. Usually they would have made an overtake or 2 by now, or maybe an attempt. Problem is, when your advantage is DRS and all the cars in front of you have the exact same advantage, well, then it just becomes a train. Cheddar, a name I haven't seen in a while. Welcome to the channel. Showing his condolences, his respects to SAFRL. So many have. Jonas leads from Weeze, then SPM, followed by Spikes P4, Levy P5 and Ladmine P6. Skull still sitting in P7. He hasn't been able to stay with the top 6, but he has been able to pull away from P8, so he's in a race all by himself. Looks like he's having a practice session. Look at this. Can't see the drivers ahead of him, and you can't see the drivers behind him. Actually, you just saw Osman flash past in the distance. A very lonely looking race for the time being for Skull. Maybe it's a good thing to be in the clean air. Leaded Sky saying there goes his drive, too much curb on cold hards. Let's see, that can happen. It's happened to many before. Doesn't matter that you didn't finish the race. I think the most important thing is that you started the race in honor of a good friend. It's Jonas from Wheeze, from Spikes. That's still the top three. We've got a caution in sector 2. Not sure what that is for, but everything has been cleared. Of course, I can't tell much from the minimap. All the dots are black. So I'm only going to commentate on the drivers today. I'm not going to mention what teams they're in because honestly I can't remember. So there will be no talk of Red Bull or McLaren or anything like that. We're just going to focus on the drivers and let the admin figure out who's in what team. Jonas leads the way, still from Wheeze. We're actually riding on board with Wheeze. You can see the leader just up the road from him, and you can see Spikes right there on his rear wing. Very good racing early on by everyone here in the top 6. Amazing how they've just broken away from Skull, 3.5 seconds, and then Skull has broken away from Osman. And then Osman has a long DRS train behind him. Somehow Skull just found himself in this bubble. He's not making up ground on the 6 cars ahead of him, but he is running away from the driver behind him. So this gap is just, for the time being, ever expanding. Of course, remember how the tires work. The softer the compound, the more grip it has at the start of the race, but the shorter it's going to last. Most of the field, they went for the medium compound, so those are going to be stopping earlier. But the 2 leaders, 2 men out front, and this is crucial because they're at the front of the field on what should be the slower tire. They're going to be going deeper into this race than anybody else. Jonas still leads from Wheeze, from Spikes. Top 3. SPM, he's gone down to P4. I believe he was the driver in P3 not long ago. There's Levy, P5, Landmine, P6. P5 and 6 have not moved since the start of the race. I think that just suggests that overtaking really is difficult around this circuit. So this is Spoon from the driver who's right at the rear of that DRS train, trying to hold on to it. Of course, the moment you lose touch with DRS, things become a lot more difficult. For the time being, those drivers in the top 6, they're not really engaging, they're not really trading places. Everybody just holding line astern for now. Long way to go into the race. Just had the 1 retirement. That was unfortunate for Leaded Sky. Probably also didn't help that he joined the qualifying session late. Maybe an extra lap or 2 of Suzuka in qualifying would have been beneficial. Had to jump into the car, maybe do 2 or 3 laps in qualifying and immediately into the race. So unfortunate for him, but luckily he is still on the stream. Good to have you, Leaded Sky. Of course, it's better than last night. Last night, I'm gonna. Was it last night? Was it Sunday? It was Sunday. I believe it was Sunday. Sunday night we had a safety car on turn 1, not lap 1, turn 1, and the accident didn't happen at turn 1. It happened on the straight. So this is a very different looking Japanese Grand Prix. Top 6 still following each other around, and now we're actually starting to see a break in that DRS train. Look at Jonas, look at Wheeze. They've broken clear almost from Spikes. 9/10 of a second is the gap. He's absolutely balancing on falling out of DRS. And when he does, I think he's going to have a very difficult time holding on to those two. The mediums will start to fall away. The track should come to the hard compound. And if you know those two at the front, they really don't need the track to be coming to them. They don't need any advantages at all. They're already quick. But there you can see it. He was just, I said he was on a balancing act. It was 9/10, and all of a sudden it's 1.7. That's what happens when you fall below that 1 second mark. Let It Sky has left the session. Jonas leads the way from Wheeze, just half a second the gap. Then Spikes has started to drop down. Let's see if we can have a look at that car, if there's any sort of damage. Appears to have all its end plates attached. Just that Jonas and Wheeze found another gear and they're disappearing up the road. We do have a caution now, lap 9 of 27. That has disappeared from our screens. I don't see anyone falling down the order, so it may have just been somebody off track ever so briefly. Pfizer showing support. Harsh Cartoon, let's go. That's the driver currently down in P8. Got a retirement, we've got a caution. Don't know, was that a retirement in the pits? SPM has called it a day on his race. Do have a caution, but it does not appear to have triggered anything more than that, so hopefully the caution disappears from our screens. Wheeze, Jonas, 0.3 of a second. Jonas has got back out front. Spikes continues to fall back, 3 seconds now the gap. It's still followed by, now it's Ladmine and Levy. Skull has made up a position up into P6, Harsh Cartoon P7, Pantry Star, Osman, and some of these names. Boomruka. I can't even say it right. Boomruka. That's the driver in P10. I believe that is a tree smoker. The direct translation is a little confusing. That's right, Visor, tree smoker. I think when I struggle with a name, I should just make up a name. Sometimes I go with the Red Bull driver, the McLaren driver. Tonight, I can't do that because, for the most part, these cars look the same. For some of the drivers, they do have subtle little things in their livery. Of course, Andre, one of those drivers, he's running a red pinstripe down his black livery. Sleefery was teammates with Andre at a stage, and he's also got a green helmet on for the time they spent together at SKR. Jonas leads the way, Wheeze in P2, 0.4 of a second. These two are completely inseparable and they're on exactly the same strategy. That's why it makes it exciting. Long term, they're able to match each other lap after lap, and there should be no difference in the tires. There is one concern, the likelihood of it happening, very, very small. But when these two come into the pits, they will inevitably come into the pits at the same time. And because of the custom cars, you don't really know who you're sharing a garage with. So I said there's a very small chance of it happening. But there is a chance that if they pit on the same lap, one of them is going to get a double stack. As much as I love the custom cars, that is probably the only downside I can think of. You don't know who you're going to share a garage with, and it might be the car you're racing. Jonas from Wheeze, now Ladmine, he's making up a few positions. Look at that, he's up into P3, Osman P4. Spikes, he has made a pit stop, got rid of the medium tyres. It's on a brand new set of hards. Race going by quite quickly, lap 12 of 27 now. We're not even at halfway distance, and somehow we've got 150 views on the channel. So much support. I think what's happening here is pretty much all the leagues have come together and they're watching it here. And we know he wasn't only popular here at SAFRL, he was popular at all the leagues he raced in. This is Skull, last of the drivers in the points, also just running the red pinstripe down the black livery. You know, in P11, make that P12 because he's on his way into the pits. Now we start to get the madness. We start to get the madness in the timesheets. Things going up, things going down, because we've entered the pit window, at least for the medium runners. All of the medium runners have now come into the pits. Top Gun has just entered the pits, so that will be the last of the medium runners off the field. On older hards, the other half on brand new hards. Rather, it's pretty much 50-50. Why is it just saying W chat, W leagues? Of course, the success of the stream is because of all of those leagues coming together, so thank you to everybody who's still here. Lap 14 of 27. Hope as many of you stay to the end as possible. We are now past halfway distance. Wheeze and Jonas, they continue to race each other, 0.2 of a second between the two. Well, these two are definitely having a tribute race, aren't they? We have a caution on lap 14 of 27, but it disappears as quickly as it appeared. No trouble yet, no interruptions yet. Don't think weather will be a factor. And safety cars have not been so far. Of course, we did get the one virtual safety car, but that wasn't long-lived. Wheeze still leads from Jonas. Spikes, the man in P3. Remember, he pit pretty early. I think he pit a little earlier than everybody else. So he's now in P3. He is, I suppose you could call it, the provisional leader of the race, because those two ahead of him will have to pit. The only problem for him is they're not slowing down on those older hards. They're going just as quick, which means the gap is 26 seconds. You're going to need about 20 seconds to pit around here, which means those two will still come out ahead of Spikes in P3. Levy goes over the line to set the fastest lap of the race. I think that's the difference between the old rubber and the new rubber just being displayed. Of course, the lap times do tend to come down over time as the car gets lighter and lighter. Jonas still leads from Wee, Spike still P3, then Levy P4, Ladmine P5. Got Skull in P6. Is that Corfi in P7? Tree Smoker in P8, Andre in P9, and Pantry Star now, the last car in the points. Very different looking track map, isn't that? All the black dots. Don't really know who's racing for who. The admin have got a bit of work to do. You know, that's the driver we're currently looking at, P16, Skulk 17, and Top Gun at the rear of the field. Seems like he had to make an extra pit stop because he's 30 seconds behind the rest of the field, and we know he's a lot quicker than that. At the front, nothing has changed. Half a second is the gap. It's Wheeze and Jonas. The only thing that's changed in the front is they've occasionally changed positions, but the gap has maintained within a second for the entirety of the race. Almost within half a second, the entirety of the race. Wheeze, Jonas, Lebby, now the driver up into P3. He has been able to get past Spikes. You can see there Spikes just behind him. So Spikes losing out here on a possible podium. Sees Lebby just up the road from him. So important to keep that driver within DRS. We saw what happened last time when Spikes fell out of DRS. Things can go backwards pretty quickly. These two, the leaders, they have come into the pits. They got a brand new set of mediums, and look at that, nothing has changed. 0.2 of a second. If anything, they're even closer. Of course, some drivers will start, or did start, on the mediums. Some started on the hard. The medium will give you the advantage at the start of the race, a bit of extra grip. But if you've left that faster compound for the second stint of the race when the car is much lighter, well, then you can have some fun with it. And if these two haven't had fun already, well, it's going to get even quicker. Both of them now have some extra grip at their disposal. Mention of Spikes, who's been able to reclaim that position. We said it was so important for them to stay within DRS, and he's been able to do that, and he's been able to make the overtake. I wonder if that was a very brave pass or if that was a mistake from Levy. Top three, Wheeze, Jonas, Spikes. Levy and Ladmine, they were in 5 and 6 for a very long time. Now they're 4 and 5, and as I say that, Lebby rather goes up into P3. Let's just have a look at what race control has to say about that penalties column, because I saw something flash up on the screen and I didn't have a chance to read it. We've got 3-second penalties at the bottom of the field, one apiece for Skulk and Uno. And then we've got a pretty harsh penalty here for Tree Smoker, Boom Ruka in P7. It's a 10-second penalty. Of course, that penalty can be served if he chooses to pit again. We've got a caution and a retirement and a safety car. A caution, a retirement, and a safety car. There we go, first safety car of the race, lap 18 of 27. That is the end of the race for Top Gun. We're down to the 17 runners from the 20 that started. And now this will mix things up one more time. Of course, Jonas and Wees were having things their own way. They had opened that gap pretty nicely down to the man in P3. Now this is just going to close everything up. Give us our second rolling start of the evening. Visor saying, well. The last time Visor gave us a safety car prediction, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Visor, one night you predicted a safety car, and it just turned out that the lap you predicted, that is when the safety car happened. Was that not lap 18? I'm pretty sure it was lap 18. Now lots of decisions to be made. What do you do? Do you come into the pits? Do you hold on to track position? For a lot of these drivers, they're just going to hold on to track position. There is no question. They've got a brand new set of tires anyway. But half the field there, you can see from 9th place all the way down to 17, they've all made a pit stop. Seems to be all the drivers at the rear of the field throwing the dice. There we go, Visor just confirming it was lap 18. So next time we have a race here on this channel, hold your breath for lap 18. Start building up some superstitions on this channel. I'll leave Visor to note them all. So no action to speak of at the moment. Race has been neutralized. Obviously Top Gun had that retirement, triggered a safety car on lap 18 of the race. We're on lap 19 of the race now. The field is pretty spread out in places, so we're definitely going to get another lap. Hopefully the field is able to catch up to each other. Of course, maximum of 3 laps behind the safety car, and if you haven't caught up to the queue, the safety car is going to, well, leave you behind. You can see there all the black dots there at the back, some of them still in sector 2, some still in sector 3, some have started a new lap. So the field's still pretty spread out. So hopefully this will be the final lap under the safety car and we can get going once more. Interesting decision from Harsh Cartoon, just being pointed out actually by Visor in the comment section. I love it when you guys in the comment section note things in the race. I don't see everything in the timing sheets. And Visor pointed out, Harsh Cartoon chose not to pit, unlike all the cars around him. I think his biggest issue is he's on the hard tyre. Is he going to be able to keep up with all those new mediums around him? If he's able to hold on to that track position, it's going to be a great result. It's not going to be easy. It's a long way to go still. May just be 6 laps, but we're talking about Suzuka. And that is, well, luckily I didn't comment on that because that was the internet just giving us all a fright. You guys saw what I saw, but no need to comment on it further. Just got that final car, I believe that's Skulk. He's busy on the exit of the hairpin, so I think he may catch up to this queue before the end of the lap. This might be the final lap under safety car. We haven't got a notification just yet. If we do, It's going to be a pretty late one. There we go, no late notification, so we will have... Yes, we do, we get a late notification. How late is that? Safety car in this lap. That would have even caught some of the drivers unaware. And the safety car suddenly dives into the pits with minimal warning. And Jonas is back to racing speed. Jonas leads from Wheeze, Lebby P3, Spikes P4, Ladmine P5 and Harsh Cartoon P6. Remember, the whole thing has been stirred up, the whole thing has been changed. If the race wasn't exciting enough in the first stint, it just got even more exciting in the final stint. Lap 21 of 27, Jonas and Wheeze inseparable the entire race, just half a second between them. Difference this time around is there's got a whole bunch of cars on their tail. They're not just able to race each other, they need to keep their eyes on their mirrors if they intend on finishing in those positions. Harsh Cartoon, I think he has lost one position since the restart. I think he was in P5 if I'm not mistaken, now down to P6. Remember, he is on that hard tyre. Boinky's behind him on a 6-lap old medium. Harsh Cartoon might have the advantage over Boinky's. Let's join those two. So difficult to see who's in front or who. All the cars look the same. Harsh Cartoon holds on to the position for now, but Boinky's definitely looking very interested in that P6. Who's that going over the chicane? We didn't quite see, but somebody jumped the chicane. Fastest lap, 1 minute 30.4. Pretty sure that's faster than anything I could accomplish in qualifying. Long DRS train, says Pfizer. And yes, it is. Look at that. Just have the one split there in the DRS train. Got a DRS train from P1 to P5. Then a bit of a gap down to Boinky's. He's battling with Skull, and then they've got a DRS train of their own all the way down to P16. And you know, we love fast driving, we love clean driving, but when the drivers are this close together with so little laps to go, sometimes just break that little later than you would normally, that extra excitement. You can see the leaders up the road. Good result on the cards, just the 2 penalties, so the drivers out front, don't think they need to be too worried about that. Of course, unfortunately here in spectator mode we probably get the least information of anyone. We're supposed to get the most information, but the drivers know a lot more than me. Things like their tyre wear, and of course Jonas still leads from Wheeze. Drivers do have a lot more information than I have here in the comments, in the commentary box. Things like tyre wear, things like weather. Of course, there was no weather today, just the one virtual safety car followed by the late safety car. And look how close it is. Jonas and Wheeze, 0.3 of a second. Wheeze trying to not damage that front wing as he went through the hairpin. They got so close. Levy, driver in P3. Welcome to Amy in the comment section. So her condolences for Ferrari, to everyone who's come in on behalf of all of Ferrari's many friends. Spikes, 1 minute 30.3, fastest lap of the race, lap 24 of 27. This is the final stint. Got a caution, and hopefully that's all it is. Yes, it is. Disappears from our screen. Safety car at this point would be very, very bad. I think we have now entered into that safe zone where we can't have any more safety cars. There's not enough time for a safety car. So if there are any more incidents, those cars will usually just disappear from our screens. Won't trigger anything more than that. 24 of 27. Jonas, Wheeze, Lebby. Those are your top three. Jonas, Wheeze, Lebby, Spikes, Ladmine, and Skull. Remember, he started in P10. He's going to be happy with this result. Made up a few positions. Obviously, in the start of the race, he was in a very awkward position. Cars ahead of him were pulling away, but he was pulling away from the cars behind him. He's just in a bubble. No one really to race. It seems like he's in very similar conditions again. Gap to the car behind 2 seconds, gap to the car ahead 1.5 seconds. If he's going to make up any positions in this race, he's got a bit of ground to make. Harsh got 2 now out of the points. It was a good gamble. Stay out, hold on to track position. It's a gamble that didn't pay off. It could have paid off maybe if there were less laps to go. But I think when we got going there was still 5 laps or 6 laps left in the race, and well, those hards were no match for all the medium runners around it. 0.7 of a second. And you'd be surprised if I told you, I think that's probably the biggest gap we've seen between the two. 0.7 of a second. Wheeze from Jonas, Lebby P3. Top 2 spots still not decided. The top 3 separated by 1.5 seconds. Wheeze over the line, 29.4. What a fantastic fastest lap that is. Not so long ago I said a 1 minute 30 fastest lap was great. Well, now they're in the 29s. It's just insane to me that their quickest laps probably a little quicker than my quali laps. And that's why you guys get to listen to me and not watch me out on the racetrack. Wheeze P1, Jonas P2, then Spikes, then Lebby, Ladmine and Skull. Lots of W's for Ree in the comment section. W's from Amy, W's from Visor. Pretty sure everyone in here would give a W to Faree. We've all at some point enjoyed watching him race, and in some cases some of you will even race alongside him. Even myself, I have shared a race circuit with its Faree. I didn't do much racing with him because he was usually on the other side of the timing sheets. I think the only time I raced its Faree was when he was trying to lap me. Lap 27 of 27. Message from 4QM8, that is one of the competing leagues in League v League. Message from Byron W3 from everyone at 4QM8. So much support, so much love shown. Someone we'll all remember for a very, very long time. And I think his presence will be felt in all of these leagues. Jonas goes into the lead. I think that was Weeze running wide. He handed the lead to Jonas, but now he's going to want to take it back. Look at this. There's 4 cars. 3 cars at least in contention for the win of this race. That's as close as things are going to get. I didn't think they'd go side by side through there, but they did. It's going to come down to the final chicane as it did in 1989. And well, it didn't end as badly as 1989, but it didn't end great. Jonas, he went on a trip through the gravel. Spikes picks up the victory on the night. Lebby P2. And Weeze, well, he was P1, P2 for the entirety of the race. Finishes in P3. And as for Jonas, he was looking at victory right till the end there. Some hard racing. A little bit of a collision at the end. But I think Faree would have really enjoyed that final lap. Fantastic ending to a fantastic race on an evening where everybody came together to celebrate one driver. Quick look at the podium and let's read out your results. Spikes, he takes the victory. Probably didn't see that coming just 5 minutes ago, but it's true. Spikes takes the victory from Lebby in P2. We still managed to get a podium out of it with his fastest lap, so 16 points on the night. Then Ladmine P4, Jonas P5, Skull P6, Osman P7, Andre P8, Boinkies P9, and Harsh Cartoon. He held on to take the final point. No points on the night for Pantry Star, Virus, Rhino, Orphe, Uno, Skulk, or the Tree Smoker. 3 DNFs here tonight, Top Gun, SPM, and the first to go on cold, hard tyres, that was Leaded Sky. Of course, I believe that is is that loud? That's too loud. There we go. Let's put that down. That is the end of round 4, season 11. It was a special evening tonight. Of course, we paid tribute to a fallen friend, a fallen driver, a fallen competitor, and I want to thank everybody who joined, everybody who hit the like button, everybody who showed their condolences and their respects in the comment section. Thank you to you all. I will take a short break. I should be back in 2 or 3 minutes from now, either to say goodbye to you. Of course, if anybody would like to come and have a word about It's Free, you can join the cool down room. That's in the NFR Discord server. You join the cool down room and I'll check my Discord in 2 or 3 minutes, and if anybody's in the cool down room, I'll drag you into the comms box. And if you have a few words you'd like to say about It's Free, I'll open up the comms box to you in the next 2 or 3 minutes. So you can join in the cool down room. And if you're not on this, if you're not on the Discord server. I think the link is in the bio below the video. So I'm going to allow 2 or 3 minutes if anyone wants to join, and if not, I'll be back to say goodbye to all of you. Welcome back, everyone. Glad that so many of you are still here. So many of you have stayed with us. Now we've got a few of the drivers, a few of Faree's friends and competitors here in the comms box. I think I've spoken enough for one night. So I'm going to let them one by one. They can introduce themselves and they can say a little bit about Faree and their time with him. Guys, you can take it away. I'm gonna mute my mic.
I think we needs to get first opportunity. He knew Fareed the longest. They were great friends, and so yeah, Weez, the floor is yours. I'll take it off to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Wheeze, as I go by my handle. Me and Fari or Rian, we were super close. Uh, Not just on track, but off track as well. Uh, yeah, just like a super loving human being. Just give me a sec.
You done?
Yeah, super loving human being. Great soul, great person to talk to. Always there when you need him. And yeah, I had a shock really, but I must say at a loss for words. Uh, yeah, he was a one in a million person, and he was always there when you needed him. So I'll hand it off to Andre. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Reese. I know what he meant to
Yeah.
you. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat here. I just want to thank everybody. Um, SAFRL, SKR, everybody. It's that lap one was amazing. It really gave me tears in my eyes, and it means a lot to us. Yeah, that's all I want to say at this stage. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everybody who watched. The guys from other leagues that joined in the stream. Thanks so much. We appreciate it a lot. I'll give it over to Virus now.
As everyone has seen, Furi was a big entity in the sim racing community. He was big. Everyone knew him. You could actually see all the other leagues doing. I saw if for QM8 doing their tribute around tonight as well. It's amazing to see how one person had such a big influence on the sort of sim racing community. I know Weez and Furi was very good mates. Raced always together. I've seen some of their racing when they raced in the overseas leagues, doing very well. Um, we call them the Alien Brothers, and they were brothers. And yeah, it was a pleasure for me driving with him, battling with him, and of course having him as a teammate for one season. And it was just a big help for everyone. And yes, very good person. And yeah, it's a big loss for the sim racing community.
Over to you, Nando. Where did he go? So yeah, we can maybe talk about the race now. It's a privilege to be driver of the day on a race like this. It's a race where results didn't matter. Lap one made it worth it just to be in the lobby. To be part of it was amazing. Yeah, thanks,
Sorry,
guys.
I just double muted myself on Discord and on my headphones for some reason. But look, that was I said it on the stream. I don't know how many of you were listening, but I've never seen something like that in sim racing. That lap one was incredible. Um, everyone just everyone just racing around at 80 k's an hour, and everyone respecting the lap, and all the liveries that looked the same. It was just it was a good first lap. And if some of you think you've got a frog in your throat, you should have tried getting through that whole thing.
Mm.
So do we have anybody who has anything more they'd like to say?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
All good things, Nando.
Great stuff. I'm
All good
going
from my
to
side. Just one thing is utmost respect and privilege to be part of this, and definitely I'll stay part of this. Thanks everyone.
that was just Pantry Star. Thanks, Pantry Star, for those words. Again, one more time, I want to thank everybody who was part of the stream, everybody who was part of the comment section, and all of the drivers who took part in this. Some of you will have watched it live, and I know many more of you will watch it after the fact. So, to all 178 of you who watched this, apparently, Thank you. And channel takes a bit of a break. We'll be back on Sunday at 6 p.m. for SKR. Till then, cheers.
Drama can't get off Bill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR.